This conference will now be recorded.
So in the previous session, we have discussed about Lightning application, and we have discussed how can we create Lightning applications in Lightning framework, and how can we represent the required content, and how to represent the content in the form of table or structure, and how can we design the tables in HTML by using table tag we have discussed, and how can we design the table by applying our own colors and the borders by using the custom styles we have discussed. And then we have discussed how can we divide the browser space into various small partitions by using division tag, and how can we apply our own custom styles for each division by using the style file we have discussed in the previous session. Now, today we'll see Lightning components. How can we build the Lightning component? Now, let's see. That already told you, Lightning framework purely built upon component-based framework. Lightning framework is purely built upon component-based framework where each functionality should be implemented in the form of a component. So whatever the features we are going to implement as part of this application development, each functionality we have to implement in the form of a component. Once the component has been built, this component we can reference in different places of your application development. So component is nothing but a piece of reusable code, which are the functional units of our framework. Which are functional units of our framework. That means these are the features which contains the functionality, which contains some business logic, which contains some visual appearance controls, which can be used to perform certain operations as part of your application development. Now, so in this case, as part of this Lightning component, we are going to be building our own Lightning component by adding the required visual appearance controls, by adding the required client-side business logics as well. Now, in the case, each and every Lightning component code will be starts with RR component and by RR component. Each and every Lightning component code should be it starts and ends with RR component. This is not an application. Yesterday we have discussed RR application. Now this is RR component. So each and every Lightning component code should get starts and ends with RR component. Now in this RR component tag, okay, here we can able to write whatever the content you want to represent on the component. Inside this component, what content you want to represent, that we can able to represent. We can place some text boxes, buttons, checkboxes, quick list controls, whatever you want, we can design. Now, suppose for example, assume that I would like to design a registration form. The registration form will be called as component. Okay, the registration form will be called as component. Suppose I'm designing a search feature. That whole search feature will be called as a component. And then I'm designing a login screen. That login screen also called as a component. So there is nothing but a feature. That each feature will be called as component in Lightning framework. So in Lightning framework, each functionality should be implemented in the form of component. So component is nothing but a piece of reusable code which can be designed once, which can be developed once, and once it has been developed, we can use this component in different places. Then where we can use this component we can use in Lightning application also, in Lightning page also, in Lightning record page also, in Lightning tab also, in Lightning communities also, in quick actions also, in custom buttons also, in different places we can access this Lightning component. So that facility is available. Now, in the case, inside this Lightning component, each Lightning component code will get start and ends with RR component tag. This is the starting of the tag. This is the ending of the tag. In between this RR component starting and the ending tag, we can able to write your own business logics. Here, what user interface you want to design, we can write that here. We can place the text boxes code, buttons code, check boxes code, everything we can place inside this. We can design your own visual appearance controls as well. So inside this RR component, we can place your HTML elements and other RR components also. That's what I told you here. So now RR components or Lightning component can be built with the help of HTML elements and other Lightning components also here. We can reference one Lightning component in another Lightning component also. The facility is available, like other nested components here. For example, as part of Apex programming, we know nested if condition. Inside one if condition, we can use another if condition. Inside one collection, we can use another collection. Inside one for loop, we can use another for loop. Like the similar fashion, inside this one component, we can call another component also. That facility is available. So that nested components also that we can build, we can by using this other components. Now, so in this case here, as part of this Lightning component, once the Lightning component has been built, then Lightning components can't invoke by their own. Because yesterday we have created Lightning application, we have prepared some code. When I click on the preview button, it is executing automatically. But for Lightning component, okay, it won't execute by their own. So in order to run this Lightning component, we have to place the component inside the Lightning application. When you run the application, this component also will get loaded automatically here. So Lightning components can't run by their own. We need to reference that Lightning component inside your Lightning application, our Lightning homepage also, our record page also, our detail page also. It may be community sites also. Wherever you want, we can place the component. Then whenever we are running that application, this component also will get run. So that here we can't run the Lightning components directly. Lightning components we need to place on the different places to make it run. Now, so in this case, how can we prepare this Lightning component and what kind of steps that we used to follow? Now let's see one by one here. Okay, understand the concept now? Next, make a note of this one. Now, Lightning framework purely supports component-based framework, where each functionality should be implemented in the form of components. Component is nothing but a piece of reusable code, which can be used to implement the functionalities based on the application requirement. Lightning components are the functional units of RR framework. Lightning components are the functional units of RR framework. Each Lightning component code should get start and ends with RR component tag. Now, Lightning component body should be built by using HTML elements and other Lightning components. That is, we can reference or embed one Lightning component inside another component. Here we can place HTML elements plus Lightning components. Note, Lightning components can't run by their own. We have to run the component by referencing inside the Lightning application, our Lightning page, our record page, our community sites, our quick action, etc. Done up to this part. Done with these points. Now, so that once the Lightning component has been developed, then we can't run the component directly. Like for example, assume that yesterday we have discussed one small general example. Whenever we are building this laptop, we are building each and every component separately, like hard disk separate component, and then processor separate component, mouse separate component, and then screen separate feature, motherboard separate, SMPS separate. Each and every component we are building separately. Suppose, for example, we have built a hard disk. Once the hard disk has been manufactured, will the hard disk will run by its own? No. Where it will run whenever you are connecting the hard disk to any system. It may be to laptop, it may be the desktop also. Whenever we are connecting this component to a device, then only it will run, or else it can't run by its own. If you're having a mouse can't run by its own. When you connect to your system, then only we can make it run. If you have a keyboard can't run by its own. We need to connect it to your system here. Like the similar way here also, once a component has been developed, Lightning component can't run by their own. We don't have any preview button on them here. If it is a Lightning application, we have a preview button. After writing the code inside the Lightning application, when you click on preview button, we can run them, we can see the result. But for Lightning component, we don't have any preview button. So once the Lightning component has been developed, then call this component or reference this component inside an application or in a home page or a record page or a community site also, quick action also, custom button also, wherever you want. We need some initiation point. Through that initiation point, we can able to trigger that component to be run. Or else, Lightning component can't run by its own. We need to run them by placing inside this any one of these places. Okay. Today we'll see the complete examples with the practical. Now, that already told you here, we can reference one Lightning component inside another Lightning component also over here. That facility is available. How to reference one component inside another component also, we'll see with the practical use cases today. Okay. Now, so now here in this case, in the previous session we have discussed, whenever we are building a Lightning application, we are having a collection of resources. We have observed 7 resources we have observed during that Lightning application bundle or the Lightning application resources. Like the similar way, whenever we are designing a component, that means component needs a feature. Upon designing the feature, we need to place some text boxes also, buttons also, check boxes, tick list controls, table controls, everything we can place. Now, in order to place those controls, we are using a separate file. And then on those user interface controls, if you want to apply some styles, we need to use a separate file to apply only for the styles. Upon click on the button controls on that component to perform some action, we need to write some business logic by using JavaScript. So that we need a separate file. We would like to use some common methods also. For that one, we have to use a separate file as well. Like that here, as part of this Lightning component bundle also, upon building a Lightning component, we are going to be using some collection of resources here also. So now that is called as a Lightning component bundle. So Lightning component bundle provides a group of resources or a group of files in which we can able to build the application functionalities. So the designing part will be in separate file, client-side business logic in separate file, common methods in separate file, style-related information in separate file, images or icons in separate file, rendering mechanism in separate file, documentation in separate file, designing information in separate file. Like that here, we can able to place the component-related details in different resources. Now the combination of all those resources, combination of all those files will be called as Lightning component bundle. In this Lightning component bundle, we have 8 resources are available, 8 files are available. In Lightning application, we have 7 files. As part of this Lightning appli component, we have 8 files are available over there. Then what are those 8 files? What is the significance of each and every file? Now let me explain over here. Most of the components are most of the resources already you know. Okay. Now let me list out what are the various component resources are available in this component bundle. Let me explain one by one here. Okay. Now let's see. Now while building the Lightning component, we can divide the functionality into various smaller resources. Into various smaller resources. Now Lightning component provides the below 8 resources are files in the component bundle. First one, component file. Second one, controller file. Third one, helper file. Fourth one, style file. Sixth one, documentation file. Sixth one, renderer file. Seventh one, design file. Eighth one, SVG file. These are the 8 files are available as part of your Lightning component bundle. These are the 8 files. Component file, controller file, helper file, style file, documentation, renderer, design, and SVG. These are the 8 files are available in Lightning component bundle. Now, as part of this component file will be purely holding the design part of your application here. As part of your component, what are the designing that you have done? What are the visual appearance controls you have placed? What are the text boxes, check boxes, buttons, pick list, and everything? All these things will be available inside the component file here. So the component file is purely concentrating on designing of the component here. Okay, designing of the component, which will be holding the file extension .cmp. So the component file extension will be .cmp, which contains designing of the component over here. Like for example, we can place our visual appearance controls. We can place the required visual appearance controls. Like for example, text boxes, buttons, checkboxes, tables, etc. All these things we can place inside the component file. Component file is a main file here. Okay, this is a base file in which we are going to be representing the content whatever you want to show on the component. On your Lightning component, so what content you want to represent, what text boxes you want to represent, what buttons you want to represent, that we can able to place okay inside this component file. Second one, controller file. You know, no need to explain this one. This already you are aware of that. This contains what? Business logic. What business logic? Client side or server side? Client side business logic. Okay, now it contains client side business logic. What is the extension of this file? .js. Right. Helper file. This helper file contains the common methods. Okay, common business logic methods. This is also having the extension .js. Now this file contains the custom styles to be applied, which will be having the extension what? .css. Right. It will be having the extension .css. Documentation. This file contains the documentation or the description and the comments about this component here. Okay, it contains comments about the component, which will have the extension .rdoc. Renderer file. It contains custom rendering mechanism, which will be having the extension .js. Design file. It contains the designing of the component, which holds the extension .design. SVG files. It contains the custom icons and images, which will be having the extension .svg. These are the 8 files are available as part of your Lightning component bundle. So Lightning component bundle contains 8 resources are the 8 files. First one component file, second one controller file, third one helper, fourth one style, fifth one documentation, sixth one renderer, seventh one design, eighth one SVG. These questions are very, very common in the interview point of view. Could you please describe about lighting application bundle and the component bundle here? Hmm. It contains the comments. If you want to give some comments, if you want to give some description about the component, we can go with the help of this documentation file. Design file, and then there we are having application file, here we are having component file. The remaining resources are almost same for both. Yes, we're building components here because that already we know as part of Lighting framework, it is purely supporting SPA architecture, single page application architecture. We can design one page and we can design multiple components. Keep on, we can place the components inside that. So always, most of the time, we are working on components. We can develop the application once. Then in that application, whatever the components are required, keep on, we can build the components, we can place into the application, we can run that. Okay, so that here, always we are working on components only. Now, right now here we are using that. Okay, right now we are using ARA component framework. This is an ARA component. That's what here we are having this tag. Okay, ARA component here. Now, once the ARA framework is over, then we enter into Lighting Web component. So first 10 days, we'll be spending the time on ARA framework here. Once ARA framework has been done, then we will enter into Lighting Web component framework. Okay, clear up to this one? Now, now, this is what we implement the custom rendering mechanism, because here, as part of Salesforce, Salesforce is having their own standard rendering mechanism is available. That means displaying the component here. Now, instead of using that, if you want to build your own custom display mechanism, if you want to represent your own custom rendering mechanism, then we can go with the help of render file. Okay, now, so now in this case, now I would like to build the lighting component. So then, how can we build the lighting component, and how can we run the component? We'll see. So that already told you, once the lighting component has been built, by replacing the required visual appearance controls, by applying the required styles also, by writing the required business logics also, the component we can't test directly. Component we can't test, because if you want to test the component, we need to run that. We need to run the component, then only we can test whether it is working properly or not. But how can we run this component here? If it is an application, go to the application file, then click on preview button, it will run automatically. But when you go to the lighting component can't run by their own. We need to reference that component inside your application. Then how to reference the component in the application? Okay, we'll see here. Now let's see. Once the component has been prepared with the required functionality, then we have to reference the component inside the lighting application as below. Here we are using ARA application by ARA application. Here we can able to call the component. How can we call? We can specify the namespace C colon. We can specify your component name. We can specify your component name. This is the syntax we used to follow. ARA application, inside the application, we can call the component by using like a C colon your component name. Suppose I have developed the component here with the name, okay, customer details component. Now how can we access here? ARA application, and by ARA application, here I want to call the component C colon patient details component. That's it. We can call the component like this.
C reference.
Now, C is referencing to that, okay, namespace. Okay, this is the component. So now C is the default namespace given by Lighting framework over here. So now which is used to reference your components.
Can't we invoke in the other pages like buttons or lighting pages?
Everything. When moving forward, I will show, because we need to understand how to place lighting buttons and how to place lighting tabs. Everything we should be aware of. Okay, during the time I will show you how to place this component in buttons also, tabs also, quick actions, everything I will show you one by one.
Okay.
Done with the syntax? Done with the syntax now? Next. So now let's see how can we create our own custom components, which we'll see with the practical. Now here let me show you. For example, so now this is my lighting application. Inside the lighting application, we can place multiple components also. For example, I'm placing one component here. Assume that this is the component. This is one component. And then this is the second component over here. This is the third component. So within a single application, multiple components also we can able to prepare. Then how can we place these components like this? By using division tags. This is one division, this is second division tag, this is the third division tag. Inside that we can place this. Next, in this component here, let's see. I want to place two more components also. This is one component over here. This is one component. This is another component also. Another component also that we can able to place. So now here in this case, how to prepare a component, how to access the component inside the application, I will show you first. Okay, other scenarios I will show you one by one. Now, in this case here, I will show you, in the first use case, I will show you how to create your own lighting component, that means ARA component, then how to access inside the application, I will show you. That is the first use case. In the second use case, I will show you how to create two components over here. I want to create two components. Both the components I want to call into an application. Like this is the component 1, this is the component 2. Both the components I want to access within a single application. I will show you. Next, in the third scenario, I will show you, I will create two components over here. Like this is the component 1. And I want to create one more component 2. In the case, how to call this component 2 inside the component 1. Okay, how to reference one component inside another component, we'll see with the practical also. All the three scenarios I will show you with the practical use cases. Clear? Now, let's see. Let's go with the first use case here. I would like to create a lighting component. Now my requirement is I want to create a Lightning component in order to represent the product details. Okay, in order to represent the product details, I would like to create a Lightning component. So now, once the component has been prepared with the required product details, now I would like to show that component in my application. I want to call that component inside my application here. Now, because for example, come to a small scenario. Assume that we have prepared an Apex class. In the Apex class, I'm writing some method, I'm writing some business logic. Once you are writing the business logic in the method, directly it will execute? No. We need to call. How? We have to go to your execute anonymous window, create the object of the class, call the method by using object name that method name. Or else calculate that by using class name that method name, we can call them here. Or else we can create a trigger. Inside the trigger, we can call the method. Anyone have the mechanism we use. Like the similar way here also, once the component has been built, component can't run by its own. We need to call the component inside my application. So I will prepare a Lightning component to represent the product details. Once the component has been built, then I would like to call the component inside my application. I want to run it. Then how can we do that? Let's see with the practical use case. Okay. Now, then how to apply the styles also? I will show you one by one over here. Now, design a Lightning component to represent the product details. Design a Lightning component to represent the product details. Design a Lightning component to represent the product details. Then how can we design this? Now let me show you. I'm going to my Salesforce org now. Let me go to the developer console. I'm going to the developer console. Now I'm creating a new Lightning component. Go to that file menu, click on new. What we need to select now? Lightning component. Okay, in the previous session we have discussed how to use Lightning application. Now I'm using Lightning component. Now specify the component name. Lightning component, I would like to start with ELC underscore because to indicate this is a Lightning component here. I'm indicating product details component. Now giving some description. This component is used to represent the product details. This component is used to represent the product details. Okay. Now where you want to access this component here, it is indicating this option. You want to access the component in Lightning tab, or Lightning page, record page, community site, in quick action, where you want to invoke this here. I don't want to select this one. I would like to use Lightning application. Inside the Lightning application, I would like to use that. Now then how to invoke from tabs and all these things, when moving forward, we'll see one by one with practical. Right. How to run this component here. You want to call this component, or you want to reference this component in application, or tab, or record page, or community site, or quick action, or where you want to represent. Okay. I will show you with practical also over here today. Now I'm not selecting any of these options here. I want to call the component inside my application. Click on submit button. Now it is preparing the component bundle. In the right panel, you will be having this component bundle will be available, which is having some gate files. Like we have component file, controller file, helper file, style, documentation, renderer, and then we are having design, we have SVG. These are the 8 files will be available as part of your Lightning component bundle. Now let's go to the component file. Component file is an important file. This is a base file. So whenever the component is getting running, this component file will get executed first. Now, the remaining all are optional. If you want to write some business logic, then you can write, or else leave it. If you want to apply some style, then we can use style file, or else leave it here. If you want to design your own custom icons, we can use SVG file, or else leave it here. These are all are optional, but the component file is an important file. This is the base file. Now, each and every ARA component will be getting starting and ending with ARA component tag. This is a starting tag, this is the ending tag. Now, in between that, we can able to place your own content over here. Now, I'm using the division tag here, okay, div tag. I want to use the division tag. Inside the division, I would like to place some content over here. Now, I would like to represent product details. I'm using bold tag and then underline product details catalog. I'm giving 2 break tags over here. I'm giving 2 break tags. I would like to represent the product details. Product code is, I would like to indicate PID-700893462. I'm giving the break tag. I'm hard coding the content here. Right now we are hard coding. When moving forward, in next session we'll see how to pass these values of dynamic content to text boxes. For that one, we'll see a component called as Lightning input component here. Now, product name is, I would like to represent, because this is, I'm going to be indicating printer. And the unit price, I'm indicating rupees, okay, 24,000. Manufacturer, I'm indicating Canon Incorporation. I'm giving a break tag. Now I would like to indicate manufacturing date. I want to indicate 15/02/2024. I'm giving a break tag. Expiry date. I want to indicate 15/02/2034. 10 years of validity here. Now, contact number, support contact number here. They're indicating +1 800. It's a toll-free number 76763344. I'm giving the break tag. Email address is, I would like to indicate support@canon.com. Now, product availability. Now here I'm indicating this is available here. These are the various details I'm representing. Now this is now the component we have prepared, ARA component. Inside the ARA component, we have prepared a division tag. Inside the division, I'm representing this content over here, like a product tab details catalog over here. And then I'm going to be representing this heading, okay, with a bold format, with underline. And then we are representing the product code, product name, and the unit price and all these things we are implementing over here. So now we are representing the product details over here: unit price, manufacturer, and the manufacturing date and the expiry date, contact number, email address, and whether the product is available in stock or not. So we are representing all the details of the product. Now save this component file here, which is having that extension .cmp. Now save this component file. Now done. Now tell me, do we have any preview button over here to run this component directly? No, we don't have any preview button here because components can't run by its own. We need to run this component, or we need to reference the component inside an application, our tab, our community pages also, record pages also, wherever you want to reference that. So now here in this case, I want to call this component inside my application. So let's open an application over here. How to open an application now? Open Lighting Resources, right? Click on Open Lighting Resources, open any one of these existing lighting application which you have created. For example, here I'm going to be using the test application here. Take any of the application, no problem. Open selected. Now this is the application. So go to the application file. In this application file, we can call the component here. So what is the component name that you're given over here? LC underscore product details component. Now tell me, how can we call the component now? C colon component name. That means LC underscore product details component. Okay, this is the ending tag also. Okay, this is the ending tag. Generally, we have to use starting tag separately and then ending tag separately over here. Both we have to specify. Now both we have to specify starting and ending tag also both. Now there is a starting tag, there is an ending tag. In between these two, are we writing anything over here? No, we're not writing anything. So in that case, if I'm not writing anything directly, we can close it here itself. Just we can write like this. So we don't need to write the closing tag. Clear? Understand the concept here? If you want to write something in the middle of this one, then we can able to use starting tag separately, ending tag. Because here we are using starting tag, ending tag. Why in between that we are calling a component over here? That's what we are writing separately. Suppose here this component we are not going to be writing anything in between the starting and ending tag directly, we can close it here itself. Okay? Now here once you are done with this calling this component, save the application right now here. Now click on preview. Once you click on this preview, then automatically your application will run. Whenever the application is running, in the application it is having component reference. So it will call this component also. Component will run. It will show the product details information. Click on preview. Now the component will be getting run. It will show the product details also over here. Okay. Understand the concept now? Clear up to this one? Any questions?
Could you repeat it once, please?
So,
Could you
you
repeat
can
it?
suppose if you want to apply any styles for this entire division, I'm using division tag over here. Now, so in this case, as a step one, we have to create your own component. So create a component. Inside the component, use a division tag. Inside the division tag, we can able to write the content. So why I'm using this division tag is, suppose if you want to place this content in a separate division, if you want to apply your own background color, if you want to place the division in a separate place, then we can able to apply your own styles. For that reason, we are going to be using division tag here. Inside the division tag, I'm going to be representing this respective content. Once the component has been designed, the component can't run by its own directly, so that we have to call the component inside an application. So take any of your existing application. Inside the application, we can call the component by using C colon and then your component name and then closing braces over here. Okay, clear? Now, so now in this case, now whenever once you click on run the application will run. Whenever the application is running, it will run your component also. Your component will run. It will represent the content on the browser itself. Now for this component here, I want to apply the style. What we can do? Right now it is representing the content at the top left corner here. I want to show into the center part here. I want to apply some margins. Top margin, left margin both. What can I do? Now, inside this, okay, our component here, go to that style file. Whatever the style you are going to apply, click on this style file. Inside the style file, we can apply the style class. Prepare a style class over here. Now I'm indicating product style. You can give any name for your style class. This is the CSS class name, product style. I would like to apply the style here. I'm indicating width. Width, I'm indicating 600 pixels. Width, well, this is the property, this is the value here. Width colon, like as a key, value, key, value, key, value. That's it. Now, I'm indicating here, border. 1 pixel, solid black. Now, border radius, I'm giving 10 pixels. Margin left, I'm giving 200 pixels. Margin top, 50 pixels. Padding right, 10 pixel. Padding top, 10 pixel. Padding bottom, 10 pixel. Padding left, 10 pixel. Okay, these are all other various styles over here. Now, suppose upon writing this styles, if you're facing any difficulty, just we can able to refer inside your internet also in the Google. Just we can go to the w3schools.com. Okay, w3schools.com. Here you can able to see all the information related to HTML, CSS, JavaScript, everything related to HTML also. All the tags will be available here. Whatever the tags are required, all the tags. CSS related also here. All the styles also will be available here. If you want to apply the borders also, what should we apply? How to apply the borders also here? Everything. All the information is available here. Border style also we can apply. Dotted also, dashed also, solid border, double border, groove, ridge, inset, outset, none, hidden. Okay, if you want to apply dotted, dashed, solid, double, like that, we can able to apply all these options over here. Depends upon your requirement here. Just you can come to the w3schools.com. Here we will be having all the styles will be applicable over here. If you want to apply the border width, you will be having the property. Okay, border width, the property also here. We can able to specify. How to apply the border width also, everything we can able to specify over here. Okay, now. So now here we are indicating the width of the division here. Border 1 pixel, solid black. Border radius also. Margin left, margin top. Padding options also we have applied. Now let's save this one. I want to apply this style for my division. Go to the component here. In this component, we can apply the style. How to apply the style? Class. Because there is a CSS class. So now use the property, class property, give the class name. Automatically, in this component, in this style file, whatever the CSS class we have prepared with the name product style, it will go to that class, it will collect these properties. These styles will be applicable for your component for the division. Clear? Now, Now let's go to your application, run the application now. Now the application will run, it will represent the corresponding styles also for your number. Now here it is having the width is because I have given 600. I want to reduce it to 400 over here. In that case, just we can specify 400 pixels or 350 pixels. Width I'm reducing this. Just you can go back to the screen. This is the 600 pixels that I have given here. I want to give it to 350 because here I would like to show up to this part. Refresh the screen now. Now we can see 350 pixels also. Depends upon the requirement, we can show the content as well. Clear? Understood the concept now? So this is how we can prepare your own component. In this component, we can place the required content. We can apply the style by using CSS file. We can call the component inside your application by using C:* your component. Okay? Now, let me place this code. I'm placing each and every content in a separate heading here so that we can understand very easily. Upon doing the practice, you can refer directly here. Clear up to this one? Now, next one. Let me take one more use case. Now, my requirement is here. This time, what I want to do is, I want to prepare a lightning component. Okay, I want to prepare a lightning component. In order to run this lightning component, what I'm doing here, we are using my lightning application. Inside the application, I'm referencing that. Okay, I'm referencing that. But now what I want to do is, I want to create a lightning component like this here. Now, this component I want to access in my Salesforce application. In my Salesforce application, where you want to show on the home page also, or you want to show inside the record page. I'm going to this, okay, lightning, okay, account record over here. Take any of the record detail page. In this detail page also, I would like to place here at the starting also, at the ending also, we can able to add. Or else if you want to add one more tab over here after the details, if you want to add one more tab also, then we can tab. Then how to do that? Let me show you here. Okay, how to build the component, how to place the component in the Salesforce app. Because in the real time, always we are building the component, we're placing into your Salesforce applications wherever it is required over here. Then how to do that? Let me show you with a practical. This is the record detail page. In this record detail page, I want to access my component here. I don't want to access the component in my application. I want to access it inside my record page. Then how to do that? Let's see. Now take that use case. Create a lightning component to represent the employee details and represent the component on the account record detail page. On the account record detail page. Create a lightning component to represent the employee details and represent the component on the account record detail page. Then how can we do that? Okay, now let me show you with a practical use case. Right. First of all, we have to create the component, okay, with the required content, with the required styles, with the business logics, everything. Then we need to call the component inside your record detail page. How to do that? Let me show you. Now, I'm creating a component. I'm creating a new lightning component. I'm giving the component name as LC underscore employee details component. Now this component is used to represent the employee details. Now I want to access the component where inside the detail page of the record. So here we can select the option record detail page. Okay, select the checkbox record detail page because I want to access the component inside my lightning record page here. So just select the record detail page. Click on submit button. Now it will add the corresponding interfaces also here. Now here we can place your content whatever you want. Now I'm using the division tag. I want to represent the employee details. I'm using bold tag, and then I would like to represent underline tag. I would like to use center tag over here. I want to show employee details form. I'm giving a break tag. I want to show the employee details. Employee code is I'm representing EID-784000962. I'm giving a break tag. Employee name is Sandeep Kumar. I'm giving a break tag. Current employer name, that means current company name. I'm giving the current company name as some Honeywell Technologies. Current designation, he is a technical lead. Next, current CTC, he is getting some 23 lakhs. Contact number of that employee, +91, I'm giving some value. Email address, sandeep.kumar@gmail.com. Active status of the employee, I'm indicating as active. I'm representing this content over here. Okay, this is the content which I'm going to be preparing here. Now I want to apply the style. So now for this division, if you want to apply any style, then we can apply the style also based on your requirement. That we can use that here. Now I'm going to the style file. I'm using this employee style. Now I would like to copy that same style content which I have prepared previously for my previous example. Now I'm indicating this. Now I would like to represent the 350 pixels will be the width over here. I would like to apply some background color, light blue. Okay, the background color light blue. I'm going to be applying this background color also over here. Now I'm applying this style. This is style I'm applying to that. Okay, division here. Class equals to employee style. Whatever the style that you want, we can able to apply the style over here. Clear? Understood the concept here? Now till now we have prepared the component over here where we have represented the employee details, and then this is the employee code, employee name, current employer name, designation, current CTC, contact number, email ID, active status. All these details I have placed inside this component over here. It is representing the details. And we have applied some style also for this particular component here. We have given that, okay, the width also and the background color also here, border radius also, all this information, all the styles we have applied. Now my component is ready. Now this time, I don't want to run the component in my application. I want to place this component inside my Salesforce arc in my account objects, account records detail page. Then how can we do that is, just you can go to your Salesforce arc. This is the record detail page here. I want to place the component in this place. Just you can go to the setup menu, click on edit page button. Okay, there is an option called as edit page. Don't click on edit object. I'm not making the changes in the object settings. I'm changing this page. Click on edit page. Now it will show this whole page in Lightning App Builder tool. This is the Lightning App Builder tool over here. In this tool, it will show the whole page in editable format. Whatever the page that we have, that page will be visible in editable format over here. Here's the page. Now, when you go to the left panel, here we are having this standard components given by Salesforce. As of now, they have given 47 components. Now, if you want to see your own component, just know I have created my component. Upon creating the component here, I have selected the checkbox. Okay, show on record page also. Now, in that case here, when you come down, you can collapse this one. You can go to the custom components here. This is the component which we have prepared. The component name will be visible. Drag and drop the component over here. I want to show this component over here. Just you can drag and drop. In this place, I would like to show this. Just you can drag and drop this component. Okay. Now, so now here once the component has been placed, we can able to click on save button. Click on save button. Now click on activate, because here I want to make this component should be accessible in applications. In which applications or for which profile you want to make it accessible, we can activate. Click on activate button. I want to make this component should be visible for few applications. Now here select that applications default. For few applications I want to make it visible. For what applications, select the application names. Click on assign as application default. I want to make it visible for LG sales application over here. And then I would like to represent in Farmers Insurance or Marco Pharma. I want to make it visible for these applications also. Okay. Now click on next button. Now this component should be visible on both the desktop and mobile phones also. Not only visible in the desktop, this can be accessible from mobile app as well. Click on next, make it save. Now done. Click on save button. Now go back. Once you go back to your record detail page, okay, in the right side you can able to see your component over there. See, your component will be getting visible. This is the component. This is the detail page, right? This is the detail page of the record. This is the related tab. By default, the related tab will be selected. Now here's the detail page. Okay. Now, because this entire page is nothing but detail page. Now, suppose if you want to show here one more tab inside the tab, if you want to show, then you can do. How can we do that? Let me place here. Click on edit page. Now the whole page will be visible in editable format here. If you want to add a new tab, then just you can click on the tab. This is the detail tab. This is the details. This is the news tab. Now click on this tab over here. In the right side, it will be displaying this tabs information. These are the three tabs are available here: related tab, details tab, news. What is the default tab selected here? Related. Why? Because it is indicating the default selected tab is related. If you want to say the details tab is the default one, here we can able to select it. Details tab, we can select it, make it default. By default, when you click on the record, okay, open record name, it will display the detail page automatically. Okay, all the settings you can do from here itself. Now, here I would like to add one more tab here. Click on add a tab button here. Click on add a tab button. Now it is adding a tab with the name details. I don't want to give the name as the details. I want to give my own name here. So just you can click on this name. It will ask you to select that label. That means what is the label you want to give for the tab. Now it is populating some set of labels over here. If you want to use these labels, you can use. Or if you want to give your own, you select the option custom. I want to give my own name for the tab here. Now give the tab name. I'm indicating employee details. Okay, employee details. Now click on done. Now here my tab has been added over here. Okay, clear up to this one. But practice is important here. It's not critical. Practice is important. Now, so now here in this case, now click on this employees tab over here. Employees details tab here. Now the tab is empty right now. Nothing is available. Place your component here again. The same component you can drag and drop here also wherever you want. Okay, we have designed how many times? One time. We have placed how many places here? 2 places. That's what I told you. Okay, component is nothing but a reusable piece of code. We can develop once, reuse it in different places wherever you want. Okay, now click on save button. Now again same activation. Click on activation. I want to make it visible for few applications here. Already the applications are selected. I want to continue with the same. Now click on close. Now make it application. It won't show. It won't show. No, it won't show anywhere. By default, it won't show anywhere here. If you select the application, then only it will be visible. Now click on go back. When you go to the accounts tab, here we are able to see the tab called as employee details tab. When you click on that, we can see your component details also. Suppose in future, if you want to make some changes, go to your Lightning component over here. Here we can make some changes. If you want to add some more details, we can add some more details also here. Now we would like to indicate the communication address. I'm indicating flat number 409, some Rama Residency, and then some Banjara Hills, Hyderabad. I'm adding some more content over here. This is the content. Now, once you make any changes in the component, that will be reflected on your references places automatically here. Just we can save this one, refresh these pages. Yeah, as of now we have email address and active status. Now we have included some more also, because communication address over there. Go to the employee details. Still the page is not yet refreshed. Now communication address also will be getting visible as it is. In this place also communication address will be getting visible. Okay, every time you no need to redeploy every time here. Just you go to the component, make some changes, refresh the screen. It will reflect automatically. Okay, understood the concept here? This is how we are going to be implementing in the real-time always. We have to build a component and then write the functionality whatever you want, reference the component inside your application wherever you want. On the record page or on the tab also, on the details page, everything we can able to represent wherever you want. Right. Two components. Two components. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No. Yes, right. Clear up to this one? Now, this is how we can able to prepare your own Lightning components, and we can call the component inside an application also, or we can call the component inside your detail page also over here by placing the component directly. Okay, but you have to do the practice of both. Okay, now, let me place this code, component code, and the style code. Right now we are using only two files, component style. Okay, now when moving forward we'll include the controller also, helper also, all these things we are going to include. Okay. Understood the concept now? Next. So in the next session, we'll see some more features here. How to reference one component inside another component. How to reference multiple components inside an application. We'll see with the practical use cases here. Okay. The next session will be on Monday again here. This weekend we're having Monday to Friday because people are slowly joining the sessions. So this weekend we'll be having Monday to Friday. From next week we'll be having Monday to Saturday sessions. Okay. Next session will be on Monday again. So next same timings. Okay. Thank you.